True peace is not a place one arrives at. It is a place one returns to. You were already born with it within you. Every small child inhabits this peace naturally, before learning to be afraid of the world, before absorbing weights that are not theirs, before beginning to build, in silent layers, the illusions that will accompany you for the decades that follow. And perhaps this is the most important piece of news you need to receive now. The peace you are looking for is not somewhere else. It is beneath everything you have accumulated. And to reach it, you do not need to add anything to your life. You need, in fact, to let go. There are 7 illusions every person carries. 7 invisible weights that seem to be absolute truth, but that are merely beliefs that have crystallized so much that they have become part of one's identity. And as long as these 7 illusions remain within you, true peace will remain beyond your reach, not because it is distant, but because these illusions are, exactly, the wall that separates you from it. I'm going to present each one to you. See how many still exist within you, and recognize, without rush, which ones need to begin departing now. The first illusion is that peace will come when something happens. It is the most common illusion. You say to yourself in silence, "When I resolve such and such, then yes, I will have peace. When the children are well, when the debts are over, when I retire, when my health improves, when the relationship settles," and then you wait. And when that specific thing finally happens, because sometimes it does, you discover with surprise that the peace you expected to receive along with it did not come. A passing satisfaction came, but the deep peace, the one you were really looking for, remained absent. And soon another thing appeared for you to wait to resolve before being able, finally, to have peace. An entire life slips away in this postponement, my friend, and the reason is simple. True peace has never depended on circumstance. It is an inner state. Whoever learns to inhabit it can have peace in the middle of the storm. Whoever does not learn continues without peace even when everything outside is calm. To let go of this illusion is to begin, today, to seek peace within the current circumstance, not after it. It is to discover that you never needed to wait for anything to begin living. You always had permission. You just didn't know. The second illusion is that you need to be understood by everyone. For decades you have lived trying to explain your choices, to justify your paths, to defend your decisions before the people who turned up their noses. You built long arguments, rehearsed answers, lost nights of sleep thinking about how to make that person understand what you are going through. And a painful truth appears with the years. Some people are not going to understand you. Ever. Not because you weren't clear enough, but because understanding you would force these people to look at things within themselves that they have chosen not to look at. Peace begins to arrive when you accept something important. You don't need to be understood by everyone. You need to be faithful to yourself. Whoever truly loves you will respect you even without understanding. Whoever doesn't love you will not respect you even understanding perfectly. To stop spending energy trying to be understood by those who will never understand is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself at this phase of life. And the silence that comes after this liberation is not loneliness. It is rest. It is the rest of finally stopping carrying an explanation that was never asked for and that would never be accepted. The third illusion is that you need to control in order to feel safe. The person who lives in the illusion of control believes deep down that if they manage to monitor everything, foresee everything, plan everything, organize everything, then they will not suffer unpleasant surprises. And so they spend an enormous amount of energy trying to keep everything under domain: relationships, children, work, finances, health, future. But there is a truth every matured person ends up discovering sooner or later. Control is the greatest illusion there is. You never truly controlled anything. Things worked at some moments, and at others they did not. and what separated one period from the other was never your effort to control. It was something much greater than you, operating in rhythms your mind cannot keep up with. True peace begins when you open your hand, not in the sense of giving up, but in the sense of accepting that there are things that belong to you to take care of, and there are things that were never yours to command. You take care of what fits in your hands, and the rest, you give back. You give back to time, you give back to other people, you give back to life. When this surrender happens within you, an enormous weight undoes itself. You discover that you were trying to hold, alone, an entire universe, and that the universe, in fact, never asked to be held by you. The fourth illusion is that you are what happened to you. For a long time you have defined yourself by your stories. I am the person who lost, the person who was abandoned, the person who failed at that thing, the person who had that childhood, the person who carries that resentment. And these stories, told and retold within you, have become identity. But listen to something important. You are not what happened to you. You are what you chose to do with what happened to you. And this difference, my friend, is abyssal. Two people can live the same pain. One transforms that pain into wisdom, into sensitivity, into the capacity to welcome others. The other transforms the same pain into complaint, into victimhood, into justification for everything that goes wrong from then on. What separated the two was not what happened. It was the relationship each one established with what happened. True peace can only exist in someone who has stopped identifying with their own wound. This does not mean pretending it did not happen. It means recognizing that it did happen, yes, but that you are greater than it, that your identity does not fit entirely within what hurt you, that there is within you something vaster, more ancient and more whole than any pain that has passed through your story. To let go of this illusion is to begin to see yourself as protagonist, not as victim. And whoever sees themselves as protagonist, even within a life that had real pains, finds a peace that the victimized never reaches. The fifth illusion is that there is a right moment to begin living. This illusion is a twin of the first, but it operates in an even more subtle way. It is not just postponing peace, it is postponing life itself. You say, in silence, "It's not yet the moment. When I have more money, I will travel. When I lose weight, I will buy that outfit. When I feel more prepared, I will try that. When the children grow up, I will take care of myself." When. And the when keeps moving away. Decades pass. You look in the mirror one day and realize that you waited so long that you missed the time to do exactly what you were waiting for. The life you were going to live afterward never arrived, because while you were waiting, it was happening. And it was happening without you. True peace can only inhabit a person who decided to live now. Not in the shallow sense of enjoying life, in the deep sense of inhabiting the present as if it were the only real territory, because it is. The past no longer exists. The future is not yet. Everything that actually exists is this moment, and whoever learns to inhabit it discovers that life was never anywhere else. To let go of this illusion is to stop postponing. It is to begin today to do small things you have always postponed, not the big ones, the small ones, because true life is in the small ones, and whoever honors the small today no longer needs the great promises of tomorrow. The sixth illusion is that you need to always be doing something in order to have value. This illusion is one of the deepest, because it was installed since childhood. You learned that value comes from production, that to be useful is to be loved, that to stop is weakness, that to rest is laziness, that to exist without doing is somehow a failure. And so you spend decades proving yourself, working too much, taking care of everyone, carrying responsibilities beyond what fits within you, feeling guilt on the rare occasions when you allow yourself to rest, and always, always with the feeling that you need to do a little more in order to finally deserve repose. True peace only arrives for those who let go of this illusion, for those who understand that your value is not in what you produce, but in what you are. You don't need to do anything in order to deserve to exist. Your value is given, not earned. And when this truth enters within you, something very ancient rests. A demand that had been there since childhood perhaps finally dissolves. Learning to be without doing is one of the greatest freedoms available at this phase of life. And it is also perhaps the most direct entrance to the peace you are looking for. And now, the seventh illusion. The illusion that peace is something rare, available only to a few special people. Peace has never been rare. It is your natural state. That is how you were born, in peace. It was with peace that you slept when you were a baby. Peace was the state within which your soul dwelled before learning to be afraid. What you call peace today, as if it were something to be conquered, is merely the reunion with what has always been yours. It is not that peace is missing from your life. It is that there are too many things on top of it. Weights, beliefs, identifications, expectations, illusions. Peace doesn't need to be built. It needs to be unblocked. It just needs space to reappear. That is why the path to peace, my friend, is a path of letting go, not of adding. The more things you add to your life trying to find it, the harder it becomes. The more things you let go of, worries that are not yours, controls that were never yours, masks you created to survive, identities that fulfilled a function and can now be left behind, the more peace will appear in silence as water appears after the stone that was covering the spring is moved aside. Look now at these 7 illusions together. The wait for a magical moment, the need to be understood, the obsession with control, the identification with old pain, the postponement of life, production as proof of worth, and the belief that peace is something rare. How many of these still dwell within you? 5? 6? Perhaps all of them. Don't be alarmed. This recognition by itself is already the beginning of liberation. Most people cross their existence without even suspecting that they carry these illusions. You, who are here, listening to this up to this point, are already doing something rare. You are looking, and whoever looks begins to let go, and whoever lets go discovers what has always been underneath. And I'm going to tell you one last thing that needs to enter carefully within you. True peace is not the absence of problems. It is the presence of one very specific thing within the chest, the sensation that you are finally at home within yourself, that you don't need to go anywhere anymore to find yourself, that old strangeness, that restlessness that has accompanied you for decades has finally subsided. And in its place now dwells a good silence, a silence that is not empty, but that is full of you. This peace is possible. It is not the privilege of a few. It is not something for other people. It is for whoever decides to let go of what is weighing on them, and to discover, with surprise, that they had been carrying for decades things they didn't even know were on their shoulders. For those who recognize that they are in this phase and want to cross it with practice, presence, and depth, there is the evolution journey. You can find more details in the link in the description of the video. Tell me, in the comments, of the 7 illusions we spoke about today, which one did you recognize with most strength within you? Which one has been asking for a long time to be let go? Leave your comment, and if you haven't yet subscribed, here is my invitation to subscribe and receive notifications of my next videos.